welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited to share with you this stacked book project that I have made. I'm doing this for the Loaded Envelopes Galore and More Facebook group. It's a swap that I'm hosting, and there will be a tutorial following this video. So I created these stacked books based on an idea that I saw on Ephemeris. Hers open and close a little differently than mine do. Mine is actually made, the books are drawers, and one opens like this, the bottom one opens like this, and then the top folds open like that. So it's a fun little storage piece. It's great for a swap. It'll hold a bunch of stuff. The bottom book is 5x7 and measures almost 2 inches tall, so it does hold quite a bit. The papers are from Carta Bella. It's the Farmhouse Market collection. You're probably sick of seeing things that I make with this, but it's my favorite collection, and I have no intention of putting it down anytime soon. I love the colors. I love the black and white pops. Pink and aqua are two of my faves, so this collection just speaks to me. For the cluster that I did on the front, this crocheted heart is actually a gift from my friend Chris, and I will link her channel below. The resin is from the Resin Queen, Holly Miller. She is amazing. Check her out. I will link her below as well. These are just some foam flowers from my stash, and then I did some fullerene flowers for it, and let me see, there's a handmade paper flower at the top here, this pink one, the pink gingham. The butterfly is just something that I made, I had in my stash, and then the greenery are just some sprigs from Michaels, and I used a little bit of the chipboard from the collection in here as well. There's some from the sticker sheets, but I just covered it all in this pattern paper. The drawers are fully functioning, of course. And I think that's about it for my project share. So stay tuned for the tutorial. Bye. First, you're going to want to gather all of your supplies. I used a scoring board, trimmer. I used a mix of red line tape and liquid glue for this. And then you're going to need bone folder and scissors, of course. So when I do this book, I'm going to give you a full tutorial on the large box and the small box on top. But the medium box is put together the exact same way as the large box, so I'm not going to do a full tutorial on that, but I will walk you through it. So each book consists of 3 components. For the top book, they're slightly different components than the medium and the largest size books on the bottom. So for the large book box, you are going to need a paper that is 10 by 8.5 inches, and then you're going to score at 1 3/4 inch on all 4 sides. So grab your scoring tool and then just do 1 3/4 inch, do a quarter turn, 1 3/4 inch, and then keep going around, okay? Now, grab your scissors, and you're just gonna make a basic box, and I chose to do it on this side, but you can do it on the other side if you want. And you're just gonna go right up to the edge of the box to create your tabs, and do the exact same thing on the other side. Just go right up that score line and then cut a little bit off just so you have room for your tabs. All the way to the score line and then tabs. Now once you've got your box creased, I like to put my paper on before I glue. So I'll be right back. So now I'm back, and I have my pattern paper on the outside of my box. I did do a double mat just so that the box would be a little sturdier, and I am doing a single mat on this side. You can see that just for this side, because I'm going to put my tabs here, I did not add the pattern paper to the longer ends of the box. So for this part, I'm going to use liquid glue, and I use liquid glue for the pattern paper as well. At this point, you can now put your pattern paper on the interior sides. So you're done with your first box. I did not put anything on the bottom of this one. It's not gonna show, so if you feel like it, go for it. Now, once I've got my box together, I just punched a little tab so that you can pull the drawer out, and we'll set that aside. Now for the drawer, there's two pieces of paper that are gonna get connected together. Your first is gonna measure 10 3/8 by 5 1/8, and you're gonna score at 1 7/8 on each end of the long side. So grab your scoring board back out, and you're gonna do 1 7/8 on this side, do a half flip, and then 1 7/8 on this side. You can just set that aside, and you're gonna bring your second piece of the drawer over. That measures 7 5/8 by 5 1/8, and you're gonna score at a 1/2 inch on each end of the long side. So once again, you're just gonna go to 1/2, do a half turn, and then 1/2. This is the part that I've pulled my red line tape out for. First, you're going to want to give it a good crease, of course. And then I used red line on each of these because I really like the strong instantaneous bond. Grab your other side. You got this, and you got this. And it's gonna go together like this to form your drawer. Your drawer should slide right in there pretty easy. Now we're gonna take our pattern paper and glue it on. So at this point, you should have something that looks like this. You can set that aside, and we'll work on the jacket. So the jacket is 2 pieces as well. First is going to be 7 1/8, and you're going to want to grab your scoring board again. And you, on the 8-inch side, you're going to score at 5 3/8. And then again at 7 1/2. I'm gonna create the tabs like this, and then we are going to score again. And then you're just going to connect the two like this on this end. You can see I've already started this, but you're gonna wanna grab your bone folder, and you can use the edge of a table or a bone folder or whatever you have, but you're gonna wanna start curving that book binding. I'm gonna add my pattern paper at this point. I've added everything but the spine, and you're only gonna see this portion of the book. So I added some pattern paper to the top. I kept my bottom plain. I did add the paper though, just to give it a little extra thickness. And the same thing on this side, because you're really not gonna see too much of this side. However, I wanted to show you what I did for my spine. So the spine I actually covered in red line tape. I'm also going to use a little bit of glue, I think, in the middle, but I wanted the red line tape to once again give that like instantaneous bond, so it's not going to go anywhere because it's going on curved paper. And once again, I'm still going to continue to work that paper a little. Okay, so this is the bottom portion of the book box, I should say. And I'm just gonna set this in here like this. This is how it's gonna lie. I am going to attach it though. So what I'm gonna do is put a little more of the red line tape, just so it has that instantaneous bond. I'm gonna put that at the bottom of my drawer. I'm gonna make sure it lines up right along this edge right here. And I'm actually gonna do the same thing again with the top. But just make sure that you're lining it up right with this edge. You'll have your book drawer with your box, just like this. This is what you'll have, okay? First book done, set it aside. Now, I will go through the middle box a little bit with you. You can see that I already did my box. On this side, instead of putting the notch on the long end of the box, this drawer is actually going to open from this side of the box. So I did notch on the short end, and then this is the jacket that I've already started putting together. So you have two pieces to this, and then of course all the measurements are in the description box, but your first part of the jacket, you're going to score at 1 7/8 on the long end each side, just like we did last time. And then you can see a little better from this angle, but this is your second piece that I've already used some red line tape to create one long continuous piece. And then I am going to glue on the pattern paper. So then your box slips right into the side, just like that. Set it aside. I have my middle jacket put together. Once again, it's the two pieces, and I am just using this on each side of the interior. You can add more pattern paper if you want, but I just did plain. You're not going to see a whole lot of it. And I, of course, used the pattern paper on the top. I did the same thing with the red line tape again with the spine, just to give it a little extra stability because we are making it curved. Here, put that in there, and this is our middle book. You can see how it's kind of starting to shape up. We're on to the final box. You can see the components are a little different in this box because it is a top opening box, and you won't need the outside casing like the drawer that we did for the other two boxes. So your first piece is going to be 8 by 7, and you're going to score a 1/2 inch on each side to make your standard box. Your next piece is the drawer lid. The drawer lid is going to measure 5 by 5.5, and you're going to want to score at, it would be the 4-inch side on the 5.5 inch side. So score at 4 inches, and that's going to leave you with 1.5 inches on this side. You're simply going to glue this to the top. Won't be the actual lid. This is just the hinge mechanism that's going to go on the book jacket, which will actually be the lid. That's why you don't have to worry that this is kind of falling down a little bit in there. Don't worry about that at all. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is put pattern paper on my box, so I'll be right back. All right, so I put all of my pattern paper on my box. The only side that I did not put pattern paper on is this one long side on the outer edge of the box, because that is where my hinge is going to go. You're going to want to, I'm just going to use wet glue for this. Put my hinge on the box. Make sure it's on there nice and tight. Got the casings of your box. Now move over to your book jacket. Now your book jacket is going to measure 10.25 by 5.25. You're going to want to score at 4.25 inches on each side of the 10.25 inch side. This is the top of your stacked book set. I'm not going to put anything on this side because this is the side that's going to get glued down. Flip it over. And I'm going to use on the opposite side, which would be the bottom of the box, that's where I'm going to apply this paper. I'm not using pattern paper on it, but I am just giving it an extra layer. And then for this side, I'm going to grab my box and I'm going to glue down my lid so that it's nice and centered right on that crease that we did again, right at the crease. So once again, I am going to use red line tape for this. So my box has red line tape. I put 2 strips on the top and then 2 strips on the bottom. So I'm just gonna line it up on the crease. Before I glue the other side on, or adhere, I should say, I am gonna put this guy on, and this is just my pattern paper for this tab, because this is what you're going to see when you open the box. So I covered that whole sheet. I'm gonna press down. Okay, now onto the final step. And you're once again just gonna make sure that this guy meets up right at that edge. And so you have the top of the box. What you should have at this point are these 3 boxes, and you can see from the outer edge here, you've got that little curve to them. I love how these turned out. It's such a fun farmhouse. Now, when you're done creating the boxes, you're gonna wanna attach them. You could use hot glue, red line tape, wet glue, whatever you want. I chose to do mine more in a haphazard style, but you could line them right up if you wanted to too, something like that. Either way, I hope you had fun with this project. I can't wait to see what you've created. I will leave a link in the description box for Ephemeris tutorial. That she is the person that I kind of got a lot of my ideas from, so I wanted to give her a big thank you and a shout out. But if you like this video, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye.